Church. Sarah has now joined us. We got her sons. We got Dakota, who needs some water. And we're just kind of cruising. Today, I got some great video of the trains passing, two trains passing through the town on, on a, I'll stay over here on the church, on a very poorly maintained track. The train was bouncing up and down. It was carrying ethanol. It was one of the things it was carrying. A lot of container cars too. And there were nails coming up out of the railroad track. So I shot that as video, so I will be posting that later as soon as I have an opportunity to edit a little bit, because the orientation is a bit messed up from place to place. I can't sometimes figure out whether I'm on horizontal or vertical, but I can edit that very easily. So I haven't been too concerned about it. But this is beautiful here. It's probably about 70-ish degrees.
Warm enough for me to not have a jacket on. So.
Beautiful weather. Some of the things we were commenting on is there are some buildings down this is the avenue where everything was basically leveled, and they really didn't keep with the style of architecture that was originally here. When you see some of the original, the pictures of what this originally looked like, it was just so beautiful and nostalgic, and just I don't even have the words to describe. Just that they've lost that in the way that this has been rebuilt. Now it's more of a modern theme. It was historic, but not anymore. Now it's all different. And what we've learned about the Lac-Megantic is they kind of like to keep things the way they like to preserve their culture. They like to preserve their language. I have to believe they would have liked to have preserved this town center, the business center, but it's not been preserved that way. And there's still a lot of lots that are vacant. Gilbert earlier was showing me where the oil flowed down. I'm not sure where the original music cafe was. I know it was somewhere down in this area, but it's been moved. But the oil flowed right downward there, right into the Lac-Megantic. And it was just fire. It was just a river of fire flowing down into Lac-Megantic. I mean, the horror. I spoke to a man by the name of Gilles today, who he was just yards from where this happened, where the incident happened, and he barely survived the incident. I guess he was able to jump away into the water, and went to the other side of the lake, and was just in shock, but then later came back to help some of the survivors. But he watched as the tankers rolled into the music cafe. He watched as people he knew died, and was just in complete and utter shock. But even after that, he was able to bring himself into rational thinking, and came back and tried to help people. And that's really what I notice a lot about this town, is they're very close, very tight-knit community. At least from my observations, and I'm an outsider and I don't know everything that goes on, and nothing is ever perfect like it seems. But what I do see is in a event like this, people definitely have band together, and have offered each other support. And the rail company is trying to ruin that, because now they're trying to reroute, which is something they've wanted here, but now they're going to reroute into their industrial park, rather than, they've already ruined the business center. Now they're going for the industrial park. And, now it's a case of, you're going to put your problem in my backyard. And that doesn't make for good feelings toward neighbors. And, my opinion, but I think that's kind of probably what the goal is separate, divide and conquer. Sarah, do you want to share any? I won't show you if you want. I'll keep it on the church. But do you want to share any thoughts about what you've seen your first few days here? Well, your first day here.
Oh, yes, we just arrived earlier this afternoon. And yeah, I mean, actually being here after all these years is just, I'm very thankful, and I just don't really have any words. I'm just very thankful. It's very sad. And there will be a lot of emotion processing throughout the next several days. That's for sure.
There's going to be a media event tomorrow. Both Sarah and I were invited to come and participate in that. I was a little hesitant to do that because this is not about me or my agenda. This is about Lac-Megantic. But they said that, knowing that there's an American presence and American eyes watching would be helpful. So both Sarah and I said if we can help.
To support.
Yes. So we'll see more of that tomorrow. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'll try to post some of that tonight. But hey boys,
Yeah.
Junior, do you guys want to say, what are your thoughts? I'm sure you've heard your mom talk a lot about this incident. What are your thoughts about being here with your mom?
I mean,
Is it okay if I show them or no?
there's lightning over there.
There's lightning.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
How many years have you listened to your mom talk about this stuff?
Yeah.
It was 2015 when we saw the oil train, and they were in the car, and he was, like almost not even 2 yet. So
Is it what you expected it to be?
What?
Is this what you see here? Is it what you expected? It's a little more built up, right?
Yeah, it's not even expected. Yeah.
Have you seen pictures of it? No.
No.
So you really didn't know what to expect.
No.
Did you just imagine it being kind of?
from my presentations
Yeah,
that I've
I
shown
saw
you.
some just little parts of
I've
it.
shown him the photos of, the searching for the bodies, and of the, of course, many of the fire, and then the after shot of where you can see, from the site, the river of fire as it incinerated everything in its path on the way to the
Right.
lake right over
Right down there, river of fire.
So yes, I think they have amnesia and they're
Well,
nervous at the video.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Which I
glad you
can
guys are here. I'm sure
understand.
it means a lot to your mom to have you guys here
It does. It means a lot to me to be here.
and to teach them. And that's really, I think, one of the most important lessons that we should take away here is how important it is to hand this information down to the next generation, because
We can try.
our
It's up to them
generation
what they
has
do with
definitely
it.
failed. The hope is that you guys actually realize how important this is. So
I'm hoping being here will help to give them
a sense
more
of
clear
that.
perspective. Yes. It's
Yeah.
one thing to hear about it or to see photos or mom's doing this again, but to actually now be in the space where a tragic thing happened and to see how it actually really does affect people.
I know.
basically told him, this is going to be essentially a week-long funeral, so there's going to be lots of feels.
It's one thing to hear about it, right? But to actually see where it happened, we tend to get desensitized.
Right.
And, well, you have that feeling of helplessness. Like, I've got so many things. What am I going to do? I'm one person. What can I possibly do? But you know what? Both you and I were one person.
Right, and here we are.
And here we are. And, just the other day, I was looking at a house and a plumber was coming to take a look at it. No, I'm like a mess now. tomorrow.
Here, Junior. Here, we're in this together.
I'm seriously a mess. I do not want to be on camera.
Oh, me neither, honey, me neither. Yeah,
But
here we are.
here I am. Yeah, Dakota's in the picture here. I wanted to get the water assessed, and I was going to use a particular company, but the plumber said, you know, this is who we use, and of course he's trying to, you know, wants me to go through the one that he's comfortable with. And then he said this is the same one that was used for the East Palestine incident. And so he and I were looking at the same water assessment company. And I said, so you've heard of East Palestine? And he said, yeah, he told me all about it. And I said, have you heard of Lac-Megantic? He told me all about that. Yeah, that's where, you know, 47 people that didn't have to be impacted by that were failed by a regulatory system. And I'm like, in 2014, when I went door to door, nobody knew about this. And here I am, you know, with a plumber who has no reason to know anything about this other than the water assessment, and it was important to him. So, just got to keep talking about it. All right, let me get off of the camera. Okay, we'll check in. Stay tuned for more. We've got a busy day tomorrow. And how do I turn this off?